What's up, everybody? No background music today. YouTube doesn't like that. All right. Let everybody trickle in here. Hello, Patricia. How are you? Good to see you. Everybody switch their chat to everyone so that everybody can see your messages. Good morning, Kelly. How are you, man? Good to see you. Excited to have the man, the myth, the legend, Zach. Last time I said you spit fire. I'm not saying that again. Just like dating myself.
You
Um,
could say a Spitfire. For me, I
okay.
feel like that's like a dragon reference or something. Obviously, it's not. It's what the cool kids used to say, but it's okay. You can say whatever you
Used
want
to.
about me.
Used to. Okay, I appreciate it.
Just don't slander.
Yeah, I won't do it. I won't do it. Welcome everybody. Give it a few more minutes.
I would love to know. I don't know if yeah, I can see the chat here. I would love to know like so for everyone that's joining right now. Obviously, I'm new. I'm sure Peter will introduce me here in a second if he hasn't already said anything about me. But I would love to know just so I know understand who I'm talking to. What have been some of the
Yeah.
biggest takeaways that you guys have gotten from the last what has it been 2 days, Peter?
2 days, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, guys, if you could actually just let me know like some of the breakthroughs that maybe you've had over the last 2 days, because I want to continue that momentum, but I don't know how to continue the momentum without knowing where the momentum got you towards in the first place. So if you could just drop a
Yeah.
comment in the chat, that would actually be really helpful for me to be able to provide more value to you guys today.
Yeah. So biggest takeaways, biggest value.
It'd also be
Don't be
really helpful.
shy.
It'd also really be helpful for me to know like how many team members are you guys currently leading, or maybe the size of the business, whether it's a revenue run rate or number of employees, even contractors that you're looking over right now. Like that'd be really really helpful for me genuinely today.
Yeah. Drop it in the chat, guys. Come on.
Let's start off with an easy one. How many people are you looking over on your team? Don said, if I don't change something, I will keep getting the same
I'll keep
results.
going.
15 to 25 team members. Let's go, Don. Don, what
Awesome.
sort of business do you have, man? Jason, you got 2 people on your team. Jason, what about you? What sort of business do you have? Just let me know numbers in the chat. Like how many people are on your team? And then as you guys are doing that, Peter, do you want to go ahead and intro us in? I want to make sure we honor the timeline that we have for the day.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So excited to have a good friend, Zach Hesterberg here, hailing all the way from Tennessee in Nashville, Franklin. Why can I never remember?
Howdy. Yeah, Nashville. Yeah, pretty close to
Nashville.
downtown,
That's what I
actually.
thought.
Yep.
Okay, sick, man. Love Nashville, bro. He's responsible for millions of dollars of sales through marketing efforts. He's one of the leading growth marketers in the country. Has definitely helped me quite a bit in our marketing efforts here at Whitestone. So I'm excited for him to bring some secrets for growth, how to inspire and motivate your team, and really to look at it from through his lens and his vantage point, his fellow believer, married man, incredible dude. And so I'm excited to have you here, bro, to bring some value. The feedback has already been really, really powerful through VIP Q&A, and we actually did a bonus, just quick Q&A at the end of general admission on the end of day one, and it's been a really fun week,
So good.
and the feedback's been cool. So I'm excited for you to bring another vantage point here. So I
Let's go.
appreciate you being here.
Yeah, excited to be here. Honestly, it's always an honor being able to, share a stage with you, virtual or in person, and just be able to hopefully inspire some more entrepreneurs today. Obviously, you've got a kingdom mind, like a kingdom minded vision for yourself, obviously, but then I would imagine the majority of the people on here are also kingdom minded. So yeah, gonna
Yeah.
gonna have some fun today.
Stoked, man. Great
Cool.
to be here, bro. So, do you want to kick it off?
Sure. Yeah. Would you mind if I actually pray us in? Is that cool?
Of course. We've
Cool.
we've we've opened both general admission days with prayer, man. So
Oh,
let's keep it
let's
going.
go. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Dear God, thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much for Peter and the mission that you've called him to, and the community that you've gathered together here today. God, whether we have whether a bunch of people, a small amount of people, it does not matter at all. God, you know each and every single person that is attending today, whether they're live or watching the replay. God, you know every single thing that they need in their family, in their health, in their business, in their finances. And so, God, I pray, actually right now, I want to submit myself to you. God, may you speak through me today. God, may it not be about the words that I have planned, but God, may you simply speak through me and allow each and every single person's ears to be open and eyes to be seen for the vision that you have for their life and their business. God, may you empower marketplace ministers today, and may you allow just each and every person to hear and see what they need to see, and just be impacted in a way that they uniquely need right now. So I thank you for it all. Thank you for the breakthrough that's about to occur today and the catalyst that is this event. So thank you for it all. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Thank you, Zach. Awesome,
Awesome.
man. Love it.
Cool. Peter, can I go ahead and get started then?
Let's go.
Awesome. Guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for, once again, this is a bonus day. I don't think that you guys had this even planned to be on this session. So I just want to honor you and say thank you for the extra time. I am not going to use that or take that for granted. So I want to just get straight into it as fast as possible. But before I do just want to honor each and every single one of you guys for attending this event. Like, you guys have all invested to be here. I don't know how much it was, but you guys have all invested to be here today and this entire week. And you're clearly showing through your pocketbook that you care about, number one, being a biblical driven leader, but you also care about obviously inspiring your team and doing God's work in the marketplace and continuing to just have a strong impact. So I want to say, just honestly, I just want to honor you guys for that. So thank you for that. Okay, now, real quick, I want to just make sure that we set the stage. Peter is an incredible expert when it comes to leadership. Like, this man, I've talked with him multiple different times about how he leads his team, how he's helped other people. Like, this guy knows leadership super, super well. I am not the guy for leadership, okay? Like, I do have a team myself. I've been a fractional salesman, or I'm sorry, not sales manager, a fractional marketing officer for multiple 8-figure businesses before. Like, I know some leadership, but he's the guy for that. My core zone of expertise is figuring out, like, how do we just find a boatload of extra revenue and more so profit that can just be found within your organization. Okay, so like I've helped multiple companies. I've helped literally more than, I don't know. I've helped a lot of companies get to 7 to 8 figures per year. I've helped even notably, like, I've helped people make $2.5 million in a single day before from big launches and everything. I know how to find a ton of revenue on the table. That is the gift that God has given me. Now, I want to give credit where credit's due. I said, God has given me that gift. Like, everything I try to do in business, I try to pull from the Bible. Like, I try to find all of the inspiration for what I do from the Bible. And so today, I would love to give you guys some success principles that I pulled from the Bible. Like, obviously, you guys all might have different businesses and you might all be at different run rates. You know, some of you guys might be a couple, I don't know, multiple 6 figures a year. Some of you guys might be just starting your business. Some of you guys might be multiple 7 or multiple 8 figures. And so it would be malpractice, if that's what you want to call it, to sit here and try to tell you, like, oh, you guys all need to go do this one specific marketing tactic, because different businesses need different things, especially at different times. So today we're going to try to talk about principles. But before we do, this is the last thing I'm going to mention is, Peter, to my knowledge, you gave an offer for people to continue this momentum that they've started with you this week, right? Is there an option to continue working with you?
Yep. Yeah, we give an opportunity to not even pay for the for a seat, but just to reserve a seat through a coaching call, where we can discover what's going on in their business, to make sure that we can solve that, help solve that, and be a good fit.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we've got 25% of the seats filled already.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So how many more seats can we fill?
There's only 9 more.
9 more? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I want to honor action takers. And so once again, as Peter's the leadership guy, I'm the revenue guy. Today we're going to talk about principles, but I would love to actually just gift a bonus to each and every single, whoever the 25% of people were. I think that's like, I don't know, a handful of people, I would love to personally give you guys a bonus for already having taken action on Peter's offer. And that specific bonus, I'm just going to say, I might shoot myself in the foot for this one, but it sounds like if you only have 9, I don't think I'm going to give 100 time slots on my calendar here. I'm willing to personally offer one-on-one call with each and every single person individually to give you guys a personal marketing audit. Happy to go through your Facebook ads, your funnel, your conversion rates, your sales team performance, everything, to find more ways to give more profit into your organization. Like, how do we figure out, like, where are the surges of profit that we could put into your organization? And I would love to personally gift each and every single one of you guys a one-on-one consulting call. Literally no pitch involved at all. This is not me trying to get you guys more business, or this is not me trying to get more business. This is me just trying to over deliver and reward action takers. And so the people that are investing with Peter on this next level, I'm going to have Peter, if you can do this, send me a list of people. Let's just say by like tonight at midnight, or you can send it tomorrow morning or whatever, but by tonight at midnight. I don't want this offer to continue going on for long, because I really don't want to shoot myself in the foot with how many of these one-on-one calls I'm going to do. So let's just do this. The few people that are already taking you on your offer, and then anyone else that gets that offer by today at midnight, if you could send me a list of those people, I'd love to personally reach out to them, and we could do one-on-one consulting calls with each and every single one of those people, if that's okay with you, Peter.
Okay, so you didn't run this by me.
No, I did.
And
I did not.
and
This was literally off the top of my head.
it's a really bad idea. I appreciate it. Everybody
Yeah,
else will appreciate it. Dude, that's incredibly generous of you. And I'm not gonna drop numbers in here, but
you're good.
not cheap to work with Zach. So
Yeah,
for you to offer that is pretty damn generous of you. So I appreciate that. That's awesome, man.
yeah,
So just to
of course.
clarify, the people that already opted in, they will also be able to get a one-on-one call with
Yeah,
you, and anybody by midnight tonight.
midnight tonight. Yeah, that's not. I'm
Okay.
not honoring that tomorrow. Like,
Okay.
I want the list by tomorrow morning of anyone that
Okay.
has already taken advantage of it by tonight at midnight.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Someone in the chat's asking, what advice for landing clients for my civil engineering consulting business that focuses on local, state, and federal government customers to generate revenue? Like, I'm assuming they're asking if they had that call with you, like, would you be able to
Yeah.
provide advice for that?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Cool.
mean, my entire, and you guys are going to learn, my entire zone of genius is like, I've been in the advertising, marketing, sales space for a little over a decade now. I've worked with probably almost every single type of industry you can imagine: brick and mortar, e-commerce, consulting, coaching, pretty much every sales process you could think of, whether it's sales call models, sales teams, whether it's in-person meetings, whether it's, door to door, whether it's, once again, e-commerce on a checkout page. Doesn't matter the type of client you're working with, like that, like customer acquisition is my absolute zone of genius. So yeah, that's just, we'll just end it at that. But I will say, you said you're not going to drop any mentions of my price points. I will say right now, the highest, like for clients that we work with, we have 2 different clients right now that are actively paying us about $350 to $400,000 per year, just from after rev shares and everything that we have in some of our deals. So like literally per client, $350 to $400,000 per year that we're making from a couple of these clients that we're working with. So yeah, we
Dude,
drive in a lot of revenue to organizations. So anyway,
that's awesome.
let's get started. But once again, if you guys want that, cool. Go book the call with Peter, or go buy whatever Peter's offering. Like, you guys are good without me, but you'll be extra good
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's
let's
incredible. And Don he just in the chat, he said he got kicked out. What was the offer? Um, so for people that have already booked a call or will book a call with me by midnight tonight, you get a free one-on-one call with Zach
yeah,
to audit your
customer
marketing.
acquisition process and
Yeah,
figure out more profit. Like, how can we create a surge of more profit in your organization?
it's
So
awesome, man. Thank you,
cool.
dude.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's get started, guys. Let's get started. So today, everything that we're going to talk about is pulled directly from Scripture. Okay. There's 5 key points that I want you guys to understand. And this, once again, this is going to be applicable for each and every single one of you. It doesn't matter if you're just starting off your business or if you're already doing multiple 8 or maybe even 9 figures per year. Okay. So the first key to success that I pulled from the Bible is that we have to know our calling. Okay, so what do I mean by know our calling? So number one, I want to pull, like let's talk about some scripture. So In Matthew chapter 25, verse 14, for anyone that's familiar with this passage, this is the parable of the talents. Now, if you're not super familiar, or maybe you're super familiar, we are going to just quickly go over the parable of the talents. In the parable of the talents, Jesus is telling this story about how there's this master, and he's about to go away for a long time. He's essentially a businessman, right? Like each and every single one of you guys, businessmen, businesswomen, he's about to go away for a long time. And he tells three of his essentially employees, but three of his servants. He says, hey guys, I'm about to go away. I'm going to give you guys some of my talents to manage. And I'm going to come back and I'll need those talents eventually. Now, when we say talents, we're not talking about physical talents. We're not talking about like, oh, like I've got a skill set of speaking or a skill set of advertising. Talents back in the day, depending on the theologian and the time in history, they would say that it's going to be about 68 to 74 or 75 pounds of gold. So one talent is 68 to 74, maybe 75 pounds of gold. Okay, so he gives one of his servants 5 talents to manage. He gives another servant 2 talents to manage, and he gives his third servant 1 talent to manage. And it is interesting. The Bible does say in this parable that he gave each according to their own ability. So he was essentially like, hey, this employee, like I trust him the most. I trust this one the next most, and this one, like, we'll see what they do with it. Now, just to put this in modern day times, just I would say more tangible perspective that you could get more value from here. I want you to understand. Let's say 70 pounds of gold. Like, I think that's a conservative average that most theologians would agree with. If you just got 70 pounds of gold, in today's day and age, that's about 3.2, maybe even $3.3 million of cash, essentially, that you're being given to manage. So in this story, 5, 2, and 1, that's like 15 million, a little over 15 million, 6 million, and $3 million, essentially, that they're giving their employees, okay? Now, when the master comes back, he gathers his guys together and he says, hey guys, I'm back, like give me my talents back. And the first guy who took he had the 5 talents, he took it and he doubled it. And he even says that to the master. He says, hey, I took your 5, I tried to do with it what I could with it, I invested it, I doubled it, here you go. I don't have 5 to return to you, I now have 10 to return to you, okay? And the master says, well done, my good and faithful servant. Now the second gentleman says the same thing. He says, hey, I took your 2, I invested it, I doubled it, and now I have 4 to give back to you. And he was told the exact same thing. He said, well done, my good and faithful servant. Now, the third servant who was given 1 talent, he was told something different because he did something different with it. He essentially took that 1 talent and put it into a modern day savings account. He actually said, hey, I know you're a mighty, powerful, harsh man. I did not want to lose this, essentially. So I put it in a savings account. In his case, I put this in the ground. I buried it to make sure I couldn't lose it and nothing bad would happen to it. That's literally what a modern day savings account is, right? It's like, hey, you know it's there for a rainy day. You could always go dig it back up. No big deal. It's pretty liquid. And so he took it and he said, hey, here's your 1 talent back. I made sure I didn't lose it. So he maintained, right? But he wasn't called the same thing. He was not called, well done, my good and faithful servant. He was actually, Scripture says that in this parable, the master says, you wicked and lazy servant. Let's stop for a second. Wicked and lazy. He didn't even lose the money. He wasn't even told to go multiply it. He just said, here you go, like take this, do well with it, and I'm going to come back and I want it back. He didn't even do anything wrong per se, but he was called he was called wicked and lazy. The only difference, and like I've heard this parable for years now. I'm 31 years old. I've probably known about this parable since I was, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years old. Like I've known about this for a long time. It wasn't until 2021, October of 2021, when I was reading this and I realized this is not about like, this is not just some fun story. The point here is that the word faithful means multiplication. So the 2 that were called good and faithful, the only difference between those 2 and the 1 was the act of multiplication. See, we are called to multiply what God has given us. And it's interesting because in this parable, it actually goes on just after that, after he's called you wicked and lazy servant, he is actually told to give his 1 talent to the gentleman who took the 5 and turned it into 10. See, call this, take this for what it is. For me, when I interpreted this, I'm like, I'm going to have to give an account to God with what I'm doing with this business. This is not my business. This is his. He has put me in a seat to steward a business. He essentially said, Zach, go start this business. Here's the mission. Go do with it. But at some point, you're going to have to give an account for what you've done with this business. And boy, do I hope and pray that I hear him say, well done, my good and faithful servant. We are not called to maintain what God has given us in the marketplace. We are called to multiply. Now, just so you understand, I'm not twisting this parable and just using this for like selfish gain or like fun motivation. It's all throughout scripture that we're called to multiply. Even in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, God's first words to humanity, right after he made Adam and Eve. He says in verse 28, he says, he first says, be faithful, do multiply, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the sky. He literally gives us the structure, the framework for like a success principle. You might go find a secular teacher or a secular, business person, and they're like, hey, if you wanna have a ton of money, you got to be the type of person that would have a lot of money. You got to be doing those things, right? God told us that in the first words of humanity. He said, be, do, have. He said, be faithful, do multiply, and have dominion. See, if we want to have dominion over the marketplace, if we want to have real impact in the marketplace, we have to be faithful and we have to multiply what God has given us. It's just there in the Bible. I'm not trying to twist words here. Like, this is just in the Bible. Okay. And so if we're called to multiply, the next question for me at least was like, well, what do we do with that information? Like, how do we multiply? What's going to happen if we start to multiply? Like, what's that going to look like? Well, if you fast forward in Genesis, there's a different story I'm going to reference here. Specifically in, here we go, in Genesis chapter 19. So Genesis chapter 19, for anyone that's, I don't really care how familiar you are with it. I'll just kind of give the quick recap. There's this land, essentially a city. It was called the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's essentially Sin City, modern day Sin City, okay? God is looking down at this land and he's like, all of these people are just committing evil acts. Like they hate me. Like they do not want to honor me. I'm done with these people. I'm done with this city. We're just going to go ahead and burn it off. Like, let's just go ahead and start over from scratch, right? And God is essentially talked into by, there's one family that lived in the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. The man, his name was Lot. And he had a wife and some kids. And God essentially is like, okay, you know what? I will let those guys get out of there before I go ahead and burn the city up. Okay, I'm not a terrible person. Like I'm not a terrible God. Like I will let them get out or get a chance to get out because they are, children after my own heart. And so he sends an angel down. And so Genesis chapter 19, verse 17, this angel said to Lot, to Lot, the man, he said, run for your lives. Do not look back and do not stop anywhere on the plain. Run to the mountains or else you will be swept away. Let's talk about what the angel did not say. The angel did not say, run to the mountains. And when you get there, you're going to meet this man named Mountain Bob. And Bob is going to, make sure that you have a new place to live. And Bob is going to introduce you to all your new friends at this next, in this next chapter of life. And Bob is going to make sure that you don't get bit by the rattlesnakes or get eaten by mountain lions. Like, there's no instruction on what happens when you get to the mountains. The angel just said, run to the mountains or else you're going to get swept away. See, the thing that we need to understand is that when God gives us a calling, we don't have to ask all of the questions about what's next. We just start running to the calling. See, because actually in this exact same scripture, when they start running for the mountains, scripture says that Lot's wife, she actually did turn and look back, which is specifically she was told not to. And just making sure you understand this, she didn't look back in terms of like a fascination of like, oh man, I've never seen sulfur rain down on a city before. Like, that's got to look cool. I want to see it. No. The point in her looking back was that her heart was longing for what was. See, if we have a calling and we're called to move forward, God does not want us longing for what was. See, she spent too much time in a land that was not really helpful for her. She spent too much time with the girls going to brunch and having some margaritas or having some mimosas on brunch, or probably not mimosas back then, but maybe it was wine. I don't know, whatever it was, but she was longing for what was. And scripture says the second she looked back, she was turned into a pillar of salt. She died on the spot. So my takeaway on this one right here is that we will never, I don't even want to talk in like third person. Like I want you to fully understand this. Just close your eyes for a second. You will never become the business owner or the entrepreneur that God has called you to be if your heart is stuck in the past. You will never be able to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant, if you're not focused on multiplying and you're not focused on running towards the future. If you're just so focused on like the current day and maybe what was and what's been going on in the business, and you can't have that vision to move forward, we're not going to be able to run forward. Like it's just, they're conflicting things. You've got to look forward and don't look back. Okay. So here's the next thing. When we're called, like if we understand that we are called to multiply what God has given us and that we need to run towards it, my next question is like, well, how do we make sure that we succeed when we do so? How do we make sure that we succeed in the act of multiplication, or at least in the attempt to multiply? Well, Bible has those answers too. So if we fast forward in the Bible, there is the book of Proverbs. It's a great book written by King Solomon. And King Solomon, for anyone that's unfamiliar, King Solomon is like the richest man who's he's not like the richest man. He is the richest man who has ever stepped foot on planet Earth. He makes like Bezos and Zuckerberg and Trump and Musk. They're cute. Like they've got a little bit of money. That's cute. He is a multi trillionaire in today's day and age. That's how much money he had. And King Solomon, if we understand that he is literally the richest man who's ever stepped foot on this earth, and also the Bible says he's the wisest man who ever stepped foot on this earth, it would make sense that we should probably give some weight, some weightiness to the words that he tells us, right? So he says, if we're going to try to go multiply, we're going to try to go succeed. He gives us something in Proverbs 13:20. This is point number 2 for you. Change your environment. See, Proverbs 13:20, it says, one who walks with the wise will become wise, but a companion of fools will suffer much harm. One who walks with the wise will become wise, but a companion of fools will suffer much harm. This is the richest, most wise man who's ever been on this earth. And he's telling us this? This means something. So if we understand that we're a product of our environment, like this is just in nature. Like you are a product of your environment. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Like there are so many like secular sayings and things that are just like, oh yeah, no, like that's good. That's a good mindset to have. So many secular things that can actually be supported by the Bible. Like the Bible is the ultimate capital T truth in my beliefs, at least. Not that you don't have to believe that, but that's what I'm saying. And the Bible right here is saying that we are a product of our environment. And so my encouragement for you is if you understand that you're called to multiply and you're called to go step foot into this new chapter of business growth or this new chapter of business, doesn't it stand to reason that we should surround ourselves with other people that are doing the exact same thing? See, if we're like, I can't help but laugh. I wasn't even thinking about mentioning this. Back in the day, I started my business in college. And when I started the business, my entire friend group were just college kids that were wanting to go party every single weekend. So doesn't it stand to reason that they're probably not going to go encourage me to go build my business up that much further? Like I had to get out of that environment in order to actually see business growth. And when I graduated, I went back to St. Louis, Missouri, and I joined it's this B&I group. It stands for Business Networking International. It's like a little referral group. And the people in that group, it was good for the next stepping stone of my business, right? Like these people were paying a few $100s a year to be a part of this group, and you'd get some referrals here and there. And like people were typically pretty excited if you got like maybe a couple referrals per month. Like their goal was like, hey, we just love to get 1 or 2 new customers per month from this group, and we're going to be happy. And you had to spend so much time in the group to even get those referrals. And it's funny, like, because now I would never never do, I shouldn't say never, but like I can't see myself ever putting myself back in that environment because those people were thinking so small. See, if we're called to multiply, they were playing the game of addition. They were trying to say like, how can we get like one or two more customers every single month? That's not multiplication. Multiplication is compounding growth. Actually, there's something else that I want to make sure that we're going to go back to the being called to multiply, the parable of the talents. Something that I think so many people get held back with, what secular space or not, doesn't matter. In the world of business, people try to play the game of addition. People try to they try to level up by adding rather than multiplying. But we're not called to add, we're called to multiply. See, those gentlemen who had the talents of gold, I think this is profound. Like I never thought about this until the other day, actually, as I was preparing for this specific presentation here. I was like, you can't go add 5 more talents of gold to your arms. Like you cannot go give me 5 talents of gold and then I'm going to reach down and then grab another talent and I'm going to go wander around the city and I say, oh, cool, found another talent of gold. I'm going to add that. The talent of gold weighed 70 pounds on average. So if I was given 5 talents, that's 350 pounds. I'm a strong man. I'm 6'5", played college volleyball. Like I'm not weak, but I cannot go carry 350 pounds in one arm and then continue to add and double that and then carry 700 pounds. The only way you can go take 5 and turn it into 10 is through the act of multiplication. It's through the act of investing. Now, what people don't think about when they invest, or I would say the difference between addition and multiplication. Addition in the world of wealth means that you don't let go of what you have. You just add on more, okay? But multiplication, what it actually takes is you have to be willing to let go of what God has given you and have faith that the growth will occur when you're not in control of it, and then you get to reap the rewards after. It's actually like the exact same thing as planting. If you think about farmers, like you got to go plant seeds and be okay with departing the seeds from your control and let God do the growth. This is even in the Bible. It says that we are called to plant the seeds and we are called to do the watering, but it's up to God to do the growth. So that's just a different thing, but make sure that you are surrounding yourself in an environment of other people that are also trying to multiply what God has given them. They're also trying to multiply their leadership and multiply their impact and multiply what God has given them. Okay. Now, the third thing is also in Proverbs. So key to success principle number 3 is to seek wisdom. So this is also just before I just got to set the frame. Once again, the richest man who's ever stepped foot on planet Earth is telling us in Proverbs 3, verse 13, 14. He said, happy is a man who finds wisdom and who acquires understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and her revenue is better than gold. Other translations would simplify this to say that wisdom and understanding produce a higher ROI, higher return on investment than gold and silver do. When you invest into wisdom and understanding, you will achieve a higher ROI than gold and silver. Why would he say that? Like, I never really thought about that one also probably until this year. Like, why would Solomon be telling us that? Well, there's 2 things I actually want you to understand when we think about that specific scripture. Number 1, Solomon is, when King Solomon was not just, before he really became wealthy, he actually had to first acquire wisdom. See, God came to him and said, essentially like genie in a bottle sort of a thing. What's your one prayer? If I was to give you one thing, what do you want? And essentially his heart posture was, God, I understand that I'm called to be a king. And that means that I'm in charge of judging your people. You have these people that I'm supposed to go steward. God, I don't want to fumble the bag. I don't want to drop the ball on this. Will you give me wisdom so I can better support your people and better judge them in a way that honors you? And God's like, hey, you could have asked for a lot of things, but that's about the best thing you possibly could have asked me for. And because of that, you're also going to have more riches than you could possibly ask for. See, what happened was when he asked for wisdom, and this is like, go pray this for yourself. Like this is so powerful. It's not about asking for wisdom necessarily. You should like definitely go pray for wisdom. But the heart posture here is what I want you to understand. God has people that he is potentially protecting right now from being released into your territory until he sees that your heart posture is in the right place. For me, when I read this, I'm like, I just had to turn to God. I was like, God, can you recenter my heart? Yeah, I want to build a business, but like by building the business, that means that I have to and get to serve more people. But God, I don't want to serve them for selfish intent. These are your children. And I hope, like, and I pray that the people that I get to serve, like that you're actually excited to release them into my territory so I can serve them. But it's possible that you might be keeping them from me because you know that they're not ready to be released under my territory yet. Maybe I'm not ready yet to serve the masses. Maybe, you've kind of restricted my ability to get more clients because I have some more growth to do. And so, like, God, will you reveal that to me right now? What's the wisdom and the understanding that I have not yet acquired that I need to invest into acquiring so that you would be honored and delighted to give me more of your people to serve? So here's the thing, though, that I want to get back to seeking wisdom. Like, I think one of the easiest ways to do so, call what it is, like, just pay for coaching. Like, that's what I do. And that's also what, just to be clear, that's biblical. So here's the other thing that I wanted you to understand about King Solomon. King Solomon, yes, he acquired wisdom, but what did he do with that? He was not just a king, he was a consultant. If anyone, like if you read First Kings, it is so abundantly clear that people paid King Solomon not for tax purposes, they paid him to acquire wisdom. See, people, literally, 1 Kings chapter 10 says that the Queen of Sheba traveled all the way across from, like, she had her own land she was in charge of. And the Queen of Sheba is like, she keeps hearing rumors of what the wisdom that was coming from King Solomon was. She's like, there's no way. Like, I've got to see this for myself. And if it's half as good as what people are saying it is, it'll be worth me traveling across multiple countries or across multiple territories so I can learn from this man and bring it back to my own country. So it says that she got all of this almug wood and spices and gold. It actually says that she had 120 talents of gold, which is, once again, that's talents wise, that 120, let's just do the math real quick on this. 120 talents times 120 times, 70, that is 8,400 pounds of gold on average. That is also about $360 million worth in today's day and age that she had prepared to pay King Solomon to answer all of her questions. And when she goes and meets King Solomon, she actually says, the Bible says that she was so surprised. She said, the wisdom that I heard from you, like the rumors and the words that I heard of your reputation, they actually didn't come close to what you provided. Like, you answered everything that I had plus some. You over-delivered on your reputation. This is unbelievable. And she paid him $360 million in today's day and age dollars, plus almug wood and spices. And like, this is not, once again, this is not one queen paying tax to another country. Like, she was looking at him as a consultant. It's like, it's just biblical. Pay for wisdom. It just makes so much sense. It cuts our learning curve down so much faster. I do the same thing. I've not yet paid anyone $360 million. Honestly, I would hope to at some point. I hope that that the day comes that I can pay something like that. Right now, I'm paying about $122,000. I was thinking about this the other day. I'm in 3 different groups. A couple of them are masterminds. One of them is more of a coaching program, and they're all to acquire different skill sets to be able to grow the business further. Like, one is on advertising, one is on speaking, and the other is actually just more so just kind of a general business group of other believers. And I pay $122,000 per year just to be a part of those 3 groups together. And then you add in travel and everything, I'm probably paying a little over 200 grand a year just to be a part of those groups. Call it what it is. I'm paying $200,000 a year just to acquire wisdom. And also, I should say, not just acquire wisdom, but also change my environment. See, I want to make sure that I'm surrounding myself with other people that are growing at the speed that I want to grow at, or they've already achieved what it is that I want to achieve. It's just biblical. Like, like attracts like, rising tides rises all ships. You got to make sure that you're seeking wisdom and surrounding yourself with other people that are also seeking wisdom. I hope this is making sense here. So the fourth thing that I want to talk about is in Colossians 2, verse 7. In Colossians 2, verse 7, I'll read the whole thing, and then we're going to zoom in on a couple words. So Colossians 2, verse 7, it says, "So then, just as you received Christ Jesus as Lord, continue to walk in him, being rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, just as you were taught, and overflowing with gratitude." Okay, we're going to zoom in on a couple words, and then I'll say what the main point is. The couple words that we're going to zoom in on, it says, being rooted and built up in Christ. See, we as believers, we understand that if we want to produce good fruit, we have to be rooted in Christ. We have to be rooted in the Word. We have to abide in God's Scripture. We have to have a great relationship with the Lord in order to have an abundance of peace and joy and gentleness and all of the fruit of the Spirit. So if it's biblical, that I want you to understand what we're going with here. This is growth in two separate directions. If we want to grow up, if we want to have the fruit, above the ground fruit, we have to actually first grow down. This is just also a principle of nature. Like in nature, you have to go down before you can go up. If you look at a seed, you might have this little seed, and this little seed, let's say it's, I'm just gonna say, let's say this little seed says, I want to be a big, strong oak tree someday. Okay. Well, first, if this little seed wants to be a big, strong oak tree, it has to first be an oak tree seed. It can't be a raspberry seed. It can't, if it's a raspberry seed, it's going to only be a little bush. And that's cute. That's fine. But it can't be a big, strong tree. That's actually like point number one. You have to understand, it kind of goes back to like, what are you called to do? Can you imagine, like, this is going to sound silly, but imagine if a tiger, like a beautiful, majestic, powerful, like a healthy fear of a tiger. Tigers are like one of the kings of the jungle. Imagine a tiger operating as if it truly believed it was meant to be a caterpillar. What? Like, sounds ridiculous to think about that. Like, Zach, where are you even going with this? That tiger would not be able to live out its life and be able to step into what it's called to be if it thinks it's supposed to be something different. If it thinks it's supposed to be a meek little caterpillar, it's not going to be the king of a jungle. It has the ability to, but just because you have the ability does not mean you will operate under that ability if you don't understand your identity. That's what I'm saying. Like, we got to understand we are truly called to multiply. We are called to have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the sky. We are called to have great businesses. If you are called to the marketplace, you're not called to have a small business and help a couple people out. It is selfish. Like, God has given us these talents that most people would kill for. Like, call it what it is. Most people would love the opportunity to go create hundreds of thousands, even millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars per year. Not many people have the ability. If you've been called to the marketplace, you are not called to stay small. We are called to multiply what God has given us. So if we understand that, and we want to grow up and we want to multiply, we also now understand with nature that tree seed, it has to go down into the ground. And I think that we think that the second it gets planted and that 6 inches goes down underground and gets planted, that's cute, and it's now going to grow up immediately, right? No, that's just the first investment. That is just the first little like going down. But then after it goes down, and like, I'm just going to relate this to financials, okay? Because like that's why I like going back to me investing $122,000 a year, really $200K plus per year. Me paying that does not immediately mean I'm just going to skyrocket up. See, me paying that is the 6 inches going down. And then from the 6 inches going down, now the root system can start to grow. That's what it's talking about, is being rooted and built up. So now the root system has to grow. And so the root system, in my case, of like when I'm paying for wisdom and surrounding myself with other people that are at where I want to be or above, if I'm doing that, that is me growing my roots deeper and wider. And the more that I'm learning and the more that I'm just surrounding myself in this, my root system is growing stronger and stronger. And from the growth of the roots is what allows the tree to grow up. That's what allows the above the ground growth that's really sexy that everyone wants, that overnight growth. Nothing, we all know growth doesn't happen overnight, but it looks like it because we don't see the root system. The root system is what allows the above ground growth to flourish. And when the seasons come, and we all know they come, when the market gets wiped, when things go awry in the business or things go awry in your personal life, like it's when the storms come is the test of how strong your root systems are. We have to dig our roots deep. And this, like, seriously, it's just I totally forgot to tell you, this is the law of advancement. I learned this from a mentor of mine. His name is Myron, and Myron talks about that. He calls this the law of advancement, that if we want to grow up, we have to first grow down. So the point here is that, like, I'm just going to give a couple other quick examples of the law of advancement in nature. So let's just say that, like, we fast forward that tree growing, and now that tree is big, strong, beautiful. It's this wonderful oak tree. And now you have these little birds that are, like, inside of the tree. They're building their nest, and they have these little baby birds that get their eggs hatch. Do those baby birds just immediately fly straight out of the sky or fly straight out of the nest? They do not. If you've ever watched birds, number one, you would know that birds' nests are not on the ground. They're built up they're in a safe area. They're away from predators. So if they're built above the ground, that means that they actually can fall from the nest, right? That means that, like, you can't, like, the old adage of, like, well, you can't go any farther, like, you can't go any further down. Like, no, you can. On these birds can, okay? And so a bird, the second it's the egg is hatched, it does not just immediately start flying up. It actually has to be able to, like, kind of flutter its wings and kind of figure this thing out. And it doesn't learn while it's in the nest. It actually has to kind of be, like, dropped out of the nest or fall out of the nest and just catch the wind just right for the wings to be able to, like, figure out, like, what is flight and how does this work? Like, even for a bird to fly up, it has to first fall out of a nest. Even for, like, let's look at a different example. Let's look at if you ever fly on planes, okay? Southwest, Emirates, Qatar, I don't care what your favorite airline is, United, Delta, etc. If you've ever watched the wings on an airplane as you're going down the airway or the runway, the tarmac, right? And you start to see there's these little flaps on the wing. Now, if you want to go up into the sky, these little flaps on the wings, you'll actually see they first get pointed downwards. See, even for the wind to catch the plane just right, in order for it to lift up off the ground, it can't just go, the wings don't go up. They actually have to first go down, and from the pointing down is what actually allows the air to catch just right and allows the plane to go up. It's just, once again, principle of nature. If you want to grow your business up, if you want to honestly, like, have a ton of employees or have a ton of impact, you have to first drive your roots in. And sometimes that does mean making an investment. Almost always it means making an investment. The Bible talks about money. I think it's documented over 2,000 times. It's more than any other subject in the Bible. It's not that money's bad. It's just, like, there's a lot of nuances you need to understand about money. And as a marketplace minister, as someone that's called to the marketplace to or if you're being called to multiply your business, you need to understand how money works. If you want to grow your business, you do have to invest. Like, it is the easiest, but also just, like, it's just it's like a shortcut to growing your business for sure. But money is, this might sound a little over spiritual, but I think if anyone that is a believer, I think you'll understand where I'm coming with. I think there's something spiritual about investing as well, because yes, it involves faith. You have to be willing to part ways with it. You have to be willing to trust that God will do the growth and that the growth will come. But it's also kind of a heart check, right? It's to make sure that, like, I think we all know, like, we don't want to idolize money. Like, God is our God. We don't want money to be the God. Easiest way to make sure money is not the God is to make sure that you're not holding on to it so tightly that you're not allowing God to do the growth. It's just, once again, I'm not trying to over spiritualize this for anyone, but maybe there's someone that's listening to this. It's like, yeah, I have actually made it kind of an idol recently. I'll say myself, it's for sure, it's a constant battle to make sure that money is never the idol. And the easiest way to make sure it's not is to make sure you continue to invest it. And it's not about spending frivolously. It's not about going and buying a new Lamborghini or an 85-inch plasma screen or a boat or whatever. Like, yeah, those things are great. but we all know those things are not going to typically come back at a higher return than what we spent on them. But when we invest, it's different. So anyway, that's the law of advancement. Now the
Zach,
fifth,
real quick, man,
yeah,
not to interrupt you, but I think what's really interesting is answering the question too, is like, why is this so hard for us? Why is it so hard for us to let go? And it reminds me, whether you like him or love him or hate him, Jordan Peterson, when somebody was talking to me about this last night, actually, when he was asked when he was asked the question, does he believe? Like, do you believe in God? And he said, I live like I believe. And the person said, why'd you answer that in such an odd way? And he said, well, if I truly believed with every fiber of my being, I'd be living a different life. And to me, that's such an interesting heart check. This is why I love that Bible verse. I think it's the father talking to Jesus about healing his daughter. And
yep,
he says, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. What was he saying? He was saying, I believe, but not entirely. I believe, but man, I'm holding on to this one thing. And whether for you it's finances, like Zach's talking about, or some other area of your life, God wants it all.
yep,
He wants all of it.
yep.
There's a C.S. Lewis quote. I think maybe I quoted it on one of the calls. I can't remember now, but he doesn't want just a branch. He wants the whole tree. He wants the whole thing. He wants every area of your life. Not because he wants to take it, but because he wants to multiply. He wants to know, like, dude, you got me, all of it. And I've always joked, like, every area of my life, easy to hand over to God, finances. I got this one, though. I'm pretty good at it. And that's me saying, hey, for this, I got a better plan. I got a better idea. And how many of us hold on to our mediocre plan instead of handing it over and getting God's perfect plan? Like being truly honest with yourself. How many of us are like, dude, that's scary. I don't want to do that. I prefer my mediocre plan because your perfect plan, that's oof, I don't know, dude. Can I hand that over? And so having drive and motivation, having finances or business or vision, but holding it loosely is what's most important. Because it's saying, like, hey, you've planted ideas and visions in me, but is this what you want? Because if it's not, I'll ball it up and throw it away. I'll do whatever it is you need me to do. You don't have to like it. A lot of times I don't. But it's understanding, like, I'm not in control of this. Like, the end of this story. I don't. Your outcome's not mine. I'm just an instrument. So sorry to interrupt. I just want to
Oh,
make
you're
sure that we
good.
drive that home. Like that's critically important to know. Like where's your mind at?
Yep,
What are the things you're holding on to? Because that's showing you a little glimpse of like, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. Like in this area, I'm not really trusting you. I trust you in other areas, but this one, I'm not really sure.
yep,
Okay,
yeah.
please continue. Sorry.
No, you're good, man. I'm actually really glad that you mentioned that because that my fifth point, you just gave me a different way to frame it. So I'm still going to say the fifth point, but I'm going to be able to frame it in a different way that I think might hit home better than what I actually first had planned. So thank you actually for dropping in there.
Of
Okay,
course.
so guys, the fifth point, once again, we're actually just going to recap. Number one, if we're called to multiply, okay, next step, if we're called to multiply, what do we do with that? Well, number two, change your environment. Surround yourself with other people that are at where you want to be or growing to the same spot that you want to be. Number three, seek wisdom. Pay to shortcut your learning curve and pay to learn and have understanding and seek wisdom and do the things that you want to do, or so that you can do the things that you want to do. And more so, way more importantly, do the things that you're called to do. Fourth, understand the law of advancement. That if you want to grow up, you got to first invest. Call that what it is. Now, fifth one is Ecclesiastes 11, verse 4. Ecclesiastes 11, verse 4 says, one who watches the wind will not sow, and the one who looks at the clouds will not reap. What does that mean? Other translations would say, farmers who wait for the perfect weather will never plant seeds. And if they watch every single cloud, they will never reap a harvest. Why is it important? I'm going to say why it's important, and then I'm going to talk about the reframe that Peter just gave me. It's important because we have to understand, like, it's so easy in I think Western society, we just get so busy. And we get so focused on all of these like problems or these inconveniences and like, oh, I've got this fire to put out. Like, yes, there's this big opportunity, but like, I'll come back to that later. I got to put out this fire first. Or like, oh yeah, there is this great opportunity, but like I've got so much on my plate. I'll do it in a different season. Like, let me get through this busy season and then I'll take on this new investment or this new opportunity. No, that is not how growth works. When like, I don't know about you guys. I've never experienced a year that just suddenly seems like less busy than the year before. Every year, time goes by faster. And every single year, I'm like, no, I'm going to have to start saying no to more travel and no to more things. And like, I do say no to more, but the more I say no, the more opportunities keep coming up. It's like life is so busy. If we are waiting for the perfect time to make a change, if we're waiting for the perfect time to become the leader that we're called to be, if we're waiting for the perfect time to steward our business in the way that we know darn good and well that God has called us to do, perfect time is not going to be here. It will never be here. And we know that. You know that. We have to plant when it's inconvenient. We have to plant even when we don't have a whole lot of financial resources. We have to plant even when we don't exactly know what tomorrow has to bring. We never know what tomorrow has to bring. God does. And we have to have faith that God will provide. And see, here's the reframe that I think that I'd never really thought about until Peter just spoke a second ago. It's easy to trust God with other parts of our life. And money's tough. And obviously, like the Bible knew that money was going to be tough for us. That's why it talks about it 2,000 times, right? It knows that's going to be one of the biggest things that people will have a struggle with idolatry for. But why is it so tough for us sometimes to invest, but not farmers? Why is it so tough for us to invest? But like, if you think about like originally, like there's no way. I have a very hard time believing that like farmers, even from like biblical times, had like a poverty mindset, that they were supposed to be poor, or that they had a hard time like investing into more seed. Because a farmer understands that the seed is not the end goal. See, a farmer might have a whole bunch of seeds, and those seeds are worthless to that farmer because the seeds don't do anything for him. They have to go plant the seeds because where their money is, literally back in the day before money was even money, people would trade resources, other goods and services. And to get what they actually wanted, they actually had to release the thing they didn't even care about, which was the seed. They had to go plant the seeds, let God run its course, let God do the growth, let nature run its course, let the seeds grow, and then they can have their harvest. And then it's like, they have so much abundance of corn or so much abundance of wheat or barley or rye or whatever that they were growing, they can't have all that themselves. It's worthless. They need other fruits and other vegetables and other things in their life. So they're like, yeah, we're going to sell most of this because we need this other resources in our life to be able to be able to live a good life. See, we though are kind of in this like, I think it's just the unfortunate thing about currency. See, currency, we look at money as like the end goal sometimes, which is we know in our head that's not what we're supposed to be looking at as the end goal. But Western society and like the American dream makes it seem like money is the end goal. But if we look at money as seed, suddenly it's like, it's just paper. Like, get rid of it. This does nothing for me. Sure, it creates options, but like, we need to get rid of this as fast as possible because if we get rid of it into the right spots, if we plant it in the right areas, we're going to have so much of it that we literally don't even know what to do with. And then it's also worthless. If we have so much that you don't know what to do with, it's like, yeah, we should probably get rid of this. Like, let's trade a lot of this for this. Like, let's go hire more people. Let's go impact more organizations. Let's go give to more nonprofits. You have to reframe the way you look at money. And so I hope this one's hitting home for someone because I truly believe this might be God speaking through me right now. And it's like, that sounds the most weird or heretical to say. I truly had zero plans to bring that one up today. When Peter said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, it clicked. We look at money as the end goal when it's not. I encourage you, look at money as seed, and seed is worthless to a farmer. It's solely there as a resource that they're like, hey, let's plant this as fast as possible because I can't do anything with seed. I gotta let it run its course, and then I'll reap the harvest, and then I'm gonna have so much harvest that I can't even store all that for myself. I gotta go sell that off. It's pretty easy when we look at it like that, but when it's like money, it's like, oh, we got $30,000 in the operating account or $300,000 in the operating account or 3 million, whatever you have. It's so easy to look at that as like the end goal, but like that's just more seed. Go plant it, keep planting. So that's my thing for you today is like take action regardless of circumstance. Maybe reframe your thoughts on like money's just seed. And you're called to plant. You're called to multiply. So that's my the 5 points for you today. And my last, just final little point of encouragement, and Peter, I'll let you get back in here, man. But my last point of encouragement is I'm sure each and every single one of you guys have been to events before, whether it's an in-person conference, a one-day seminar, a 5-day event. I don't know, but I'm sure all of you guys have been to events before. I'm sure this is not your first ever event. Now, I'm sure that each and every single one of you guys can relate to going to an event and you're like, no, this is so good. Like, this makes so much sense. I'm pumped. I'm about to go make some moves in business, or I'm about to go make some moves in my fitness, or whatever it is that you were trying to learn, right? And we can all relate to going back to our old environment, realizing that life never actually changed. We were actually better off not attending that event because life never changed for us. See, those events might be educational, and education's great, but education does not lead to transformation without action on your end. Action, the only real action that I've seen from an event that allows people to truly flourish and have their lives be changed, a transformational event, is honestly making an investment. Making an investment is your way of being able to say, like, our heart follows where our pocketbook goes. Our pocketbook follows where our heart goes. Like, they're pretty connected. And if we are investing into growth, we're going to grow. If we are holding on to our money and don't want to spend it, we're probably not going to grow much. And so I encourage you, if you're like, I want to make sure that my leadership is radically changed. The way that I lead my team, the way that I lead my family, the way that I lead my community, the way that I step up in my church, the way that I step up for future employees that are waiting for jobs that I haven't even had job openings for yet because my business hasn't been growing fast enough. Like, if you want to lead those people, first step you could take right now is go book that call with Peter. Go book that call. That is the easiest first step that you could take to make sure that 1 week from now, your life actually does start to take change. That your life actually does have a different course than what you were on track for. I just want you to understand though, like, if you don't, and this is not like, not trying to pressure you or pressure you into anything. Obviously, if you don't feel called to do any of this, like, that's fine. But for the person that's like, yeah, I really don't want to be back on the exact same track I've been on over the last few months. Easiest way to do that is by saying, you know what? I'm going to make that investment. I'm going to plant the seed, and I'm going to let God speak through Peter. I'm going to let nature run its course. I'm going to let God do the growth here, but I understand I do need to plant that seed. Planting the seed right now is your first and easiest step that you can take to letting your root system grow stronger, so that way the above the growth, or the above the ground growth, can truly flourish. So that is my encouragement for you guys today. Peter, if you have that link, I haven't even paid attention too much to the chat, but if you've got that link, dude, send it one more time. And
Yeah.
seriously, anyone that books that call with you, they'll get a free one-on-one consulting call with me. No questions asked. As long as it's by
Yeah.
today at midnight.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. Myron he just put in the Q&A. He wants to schedule a call. Just hit that link in the chat and you can grab that time with me. And then the list of people that have booked a call, we'll get that that list out to Zach in the morning here. Before everybody leaves and before we wrap up, I need to address something that is on my heart that we drove home yesterday, I think, really well. And then Zach's reiterating it. You guys, it is better off for you, and this is going to sound pretty harsh, but I don't mean it that way. It's better off for you not to attend these things, not to attend courses and classes and conferences, than to attend them and do nothing with them. It's absolutely insane. If you sit here and just think about it for a minute, if you said out loud, I'm planning on attending 4 or 5 conferences this year, spending a ton of money in travel, a ton of time, most importantly, being away from my business and my family. I'm planning to do all of that and come home and do nothing. But we do it. We do it all the time. If you're like being honest with yourself, and I'm being honest with myself, I do it all the time. A lot less now than before because I value my time. and I'm only going to say yes to the things I'm actually going to do something with, you're better off not attending for the waste of time, the waste of money, but more importantly is the regret. There are times when I've stumbled upon my bookshelf and a binder full of copious notes on inspiration and epiphanies that I did absolutely nothing with. It's horrible. It's a terrible feeling because you're like, dude, oh my gosh, all these things from 10 years ago that I could have done something with, and now I'm 10 years down the road and I still didn't do anything with them. You're better off not attending. And so be diligent about how you're spending your time and the stuff that you're being inspired with, so much so that it's not educational or inspirational, as we say here, but transformational. We're not in the education hoarding business. That is not interesting to me. It shouldn't be interesting to you either. That causes analysis paralysis. We have a client that was diligently researching real estate investment for 2 years. He did not have a single real estate investment in his portfolio. And I asked him, how many offers have you put in? His answer was zero. And within 2 weeks, he had his first offer in and a property under contract because accountability appointments increase your chances of reaching a goal by 95%. He needed some of that pressure, right? Some of you need that pressure. Some of them from me. Some of you need it from Zach. Some of you need it somewhere else. I don't much care. But do something. We don't need to be hoarding information. That is not interesting. So if you attended some conferences and you didn't do anything with them, write down, hey, I plan on attending these conferences this year and doing nothing with them. Read it back to yourself and then rewrite it. Say, I'm checking off 3 of these. I'm not doing them because I'm just hoarding information. And instead, I'm going to attend these other 2. I'm going to trim it back because I'm actually going to go do that and then I'm going to do something with it. I love it, man. Okay. We've got some calls coming in. I love that. Who's got questions? Questions about what we're doing here, questions about the programming, questions about the offer. We'll give you guys a few minutes, and if we don't, then we can drop off early here. But it sounds like Myron's got a call to schedule. Ascension is, which I'm just happy with myself to be able to pronounce your name correctly. Who else? Who's got questions here? Zach, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
It's just like bringing the noise, man. It's just reminders of, God is a God of more.
Yep.
He didn't create anybody that's mediocre. He wasn't like, hey, this guy Zach, I think we're just gonna create him to be able to walk aimlessly around this earth. We're all here. We're all a puzzle piece. We're all here created to do something and to do something powerful.
Yep. Uh, Peter, there's a question right now, and I'm going to let you speak into it, but I will say one thing, and
Do it.
it's coming from Patricia here. It says, I understand what you're saying about investing, but what if I'm running my business week by week financially, and I do not see the room to invest right now? Patricia, I don't know what that looks like for you, but I will say this, because I can only speak into my own experience. When I, such a shame, honestly. When I started my business, I was dating a girl, and just small mindset. It's okay, but a small mindset. And I was telling her I was 21 years old at the time. I said, "Hey, by the time I'm 25, I'm going to make 6 figures a year, and by the time I'm 30, I'll be making 7 figures a year." Number one, you got to be careful with what you say, because
Mm.
that ended up being the exact timeline that it took me to make 6 figures a year in sales versus 7 figures a year in sales. You got to be careful what you say. But secondly, I want to tell you the reason why it took me so long. It took me about probably 4 years before I made an investment that was more than $1,000 in terms of education. I invested in softwares. I invested in some staff here or there. But like in terms of education or wisdom, I don't think I paid more than $1,000 for anything for about 4 years. The very moment I made an investment that was over $1,000 in education, specifically in relation to what I was doing in business, is what allowed the business to start growing. And for me, it's like the reason I didn't do that for so long, it's not because I didn't want it. I would imagine a lot of you guys are in this position where it's like, no, I would love to pay $200,000 a year, $500,000 a year for education. That's great. But I just don't have the money. And because you don't have the money is the reason that you need to invest. See, I used to think that like I didn't like I needed to wait until I had the money in my account so I can make the investment. But that's not how investing works. Like if you're going to invest in education, you have to do so because you don't have the money, because you can't easily afford it. Like that's when you know that you need it. The second, number one, I have never in my life made an investment in anything that like didn't remotely challenge me or make me super uncomfortable. I've never invested in anything at that level or less, like essentially it made it a comfortable investment that actually changed my life. The only investments that I've ever made were the ones that were truly a leap of faith. Like the ones that truly changed my life or changed the business, like the most catalyst moments. I remember this is going to be, sorry, quick story. You didn't ask for this, but I'm going to share it for you because I hope this resonates with someone. One of the most scary investments I ever made in the business. It's 2020. I was 2 weeks away from closing on our home. My wife and I were living in an apartment, newlyweds at the time. I was paying us a whopping $2,000 a month. Whoop-de-doo, I'm crushing it, right? $2,000 a month is what I was paying my wife and I. And we somehow, by the grace of God, got approved to buy this home. And we were under contract on it. And we were about to close on it. Once again, 2 weeks away. I was making maybe $5 to 6 grand a month in the business. Top line revenue. Every now and then I might hit like an $8 grand month or something. It was small though. I was not crushing it by any means. And my wife was about to lose part of her income for like some things that were going on in her kind of job and school situation. She was about to lose some income. So I was going to have to start paying us an additional about $1,300 a month. So I was going to have to go from $2,000 to $3,300 per month. I also knew that if we bought this house, we were also going to have to go buy some new furniture. That was going to be another couple grand as well. On top of that, chaboy, I am so embarrassed to admit this, but hey, we all have instances. I pre-sold a mastermind because I know a lot about sales and know a lot about marketing. I wasn't the best with financial management at the time. I pre-sold a mastermind and made 15 grand a little while ago, or like a few months before this instance. And I used the 15 grand to go cover other expenses. But I knew 100% of that 15K needed to be spent to fulfill on the mastermind. It was essentially like a break even. I was not actually going to make profit on it, but I needed the 15K up front to like start paying for some other expenses. So long story short, 2 weeks away from closing on a house, my income, I have to start paying my wife and I an additional $1,300 a month. I also was going to have to pay for some stuff for the house. And then I also had 15 grand that I was about to outlay for a mastermind weekend that I was about to be hosting. I had like 6 grand total in the operating account. Like not much at all. It might have been 5 grand actually in my operating account. Didn't have the savings, but I had a credit card. And I remember I'm like, my back's already against the wall. Like what else am I supposed to do? We can't afford this house. And I realized, and like sometimes it's life's toughest points that is what allows us to grow. And at this point, my back is literally, I like feel it right now, even thinking about this. My back was so against the wall. My wife had no idea where I was financially within the business. And I remember thinking, I'm like, I can't step forward. Like my back's already attached to the wall right now. I think the only way I can get out of this, like there's only 2 ways. I could keep doing what I'm doing and we're going to be screwed. We're either going to not be able to close on this house. My wife's going to back out of the contract. Like I could try to keep doing what I'm doing, but it's not getting me a different result. Or I can make one final more investment and give this the final Hail Mary. And what that looks like is I had to take an extra step into the wall to break the drywall around me so I can break free. And when I took the step into the wall, it was an 11 grand investment. Oh my gosh, I was scared. Had to put that thing on a 3-pay payment plan because I had no idea how I was going to be able to pay that off. I didn't know how I was going to make the second payment, but I said, screw it, I'm doing it anyway. I took the step back. I feel it in my entire body. Like I knew it's what I needed to do, but there was no way I could have told my wife. If I told her, I'm like, she's backing out of the contract, and that's not how we advance in this life. Like I've got to make this work. I've got to be the person that says, you know what, I'm carrying the bricks, let's put them on my shoulders, we're doing this thing. And the very next month I closed $18,000 in sales. The month after that I closed $22,000 in sales, and the third month of the program I sold I made $26,000 in sales. Record breaking month followed by another record breaking month followed by another record breaking month. 3 months later is when I finally told my wife the position we were in. I have thankfully never gone down past that. Like it's only been up from there. But that was like, I didn't have the money. I was 2 weeks. I was 2 weeks away from like, we weren't going to be able to close on the house. I didn't know what was going to happen. Thankfully, that was a business credit card. And like, I was still able to close on the house. Like, anyway, I say that to say sometimes you have to have that leap of faith. And it's the investments that scare the crap out of you and you have no idea how in the world you're going to pay for it that allows you to actually grow more than you could have ever realized that you even needed to grow. So,
Yeah.
Peter, I don't know if
Yeah.
you have anything else you want to add.
Well, a ton, and I'll keep it short, but like the phrase "people that pay attention." I remember hearing that, and it was the first time I was like maybe on a call like this. I'm like, how self-serving to make a statement like that, and then you live it, and you're like, oh my gosh. And here's the thing. This is a perfect example. I feel like everybody's lived this in some form or fashion. Free gym membership, free coaching consultation, right? Or the guy or gal you're paying that's going to notice when you don't show up to the gym. Which one's getting you better results physically? It's not the free one. If nobody's noticing you're going to be there, you're not showing up. If you didn't pay for it, it's about what it's worth, right? And so it's such an interesting thing. Now, paired with tuition from the Lord, paired with asking him, hey, what do you want me to know about this? Is this the direction you want me to go? Because I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now. And not just with this, in general. If he's guiding you there, sometimes you got to make the right decision and it's a
Yeah.
hard one. And so that's what you felt. I'm just making an assumption here, Zach. I wasn't there and I'm not in your head.
Yeah.
The assumption I'm making for you is that you knew the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You knew the right investment to make. It felt like horribly bad timing financially,
Couldn't be
right?
worse.
Couldn't have been worse. But you knew, like, dude, this is what I got to do.
Yeah.
This is what's going to get me there. And we talked about faith earlier. You're like, dude, I know you got this.
Yeah.
You're guiding me here. I know you got this. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Dude, I got a friend of mine. He's a client. He's an extremely famous Christian musician. And I was just talking with him this week, and he's like, Peter, I go on stage stressed out, even though I'm a professional. He goes, you know what's cool about the stress? It carries me through, and I perform way better than if I just walked up like, look at me, I'm a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't even need to prep. I'm so rad. He's like, no, dude, I go on like this is life or death. And I crush. He's like, I crush because he's like, my senses are like heightened. And I'm there and I'm like, I got to make this work.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just kill it.
Yeah. Peter, when we're not operating under stress and we have like, yes, there's an element of peace, right? Supernatural peace. But
Yeah.
when we are never putting ourselves in a position that we're like stretched and we have no idea how we're supposed to make ends meet, what's the point of relying on God?
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to, it's pretty easy to kind of write him off the side and say, no, like things are good. Like when things are good, things are good. And sudden, like most people don't actually pray all the time when things are great. It's usually when things are stressful and they're like, I have no idea. Like there's so much stuff on my plate that I don't think it's physically possible to take care of all of this. That's when you could actually really understand what full surrender looks like and faith looks like. I remember seeing it as a kid. I remember my parents actually had my sister and I, we all came in the living room and there was just a pile of bills stacked on the table. And we all laid hands on it and prayed because we were a couple weeks away from getting our house taken away. Like I did
Mm,
not come from a great financial background at all. And I
yeah.
saw time after time after time that when things were the scariest, that God always came through. And like that's here's the other thing I think for anyone that's whether this is the investment that you feel like God is calling you to make or whatever, if you're contemplating it, here's the thing, just ask like, where's peace? See,
Mm,
God is never going to lead you somewhere that you don't have peace. Now that does not mean he will lead you somewhere that you're confident about,
yeah.
but like or that you know exactly how to navigate. But when you're stepping into your calling, even when there's roadblocks, even when there's like, yeah, I don't know how we're going to make payroll next week, you still have peace about it if that's what God has called you to actually do. And
Yeah.
so for me, when I was looking at that program that I at the time was I felt was the right fit for me, it wasn't because I'm like, oh my gosh, someone's pressuring me into this, like I'm going to do this, or I'm being made to do this. It was like, no, like I think this is the only way out. Like this just makes sense. I'm going to be super stressed and I'm going to have to give all of my attention to this and God's really going to have to pull through because I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet. I actually can't
Yeah.
make ends meet. God's going to have to, but I have nothing but peace that this is what I actually need to do. So, follow where peace is.
Yeah.
So,
So good, dude.
in my
So
opinion.
good. I love it, man.
Well, Peter,
Jason,
I
thank you,
appreciate you,
man.
man. Peter, I got
Zach,
to get
thank you.
going, but I'll let
Okay.
you close this out. Okay.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. Take it easy, man.
Yep. Love you, bro. I'll see you.
Love you, man. See ya. Anybody else here? We've got 9 minutes. And so if there are any questions regarding this miner, I sent you are you still here? Let's see. Yeah, you are still here. I sent you a link. You said you want to schedule a call. Grab that. Awesome. Glad you have it. Jason, would love to connect with you. Appreciate you. Anybody else here have questions? I just want to make sure you guys carry this encouragement with you on decision making and trust and being faith filled and following the Lord's guidance. And remember that this advice and encouragement is not just related to what we're talking about here. It's not just about Whitestone's programming. These are lessons for life that I want you to carry with you. And I truly mean that. And it's not only just for you. Remember the Bible verse that I shared with you guys yesterday? You want to also shepherd and the people that you've been entrusted to, and you want them to bear fruit too. So these are things for you to learn and apply to your life, but I want you to then also multiply. Zach talked a lot about multiplication today. Take what you've learned and multiply that through the people you've been entrusted to. So that's my encouragement to you. Any other questions regarding the offer, regarding what Zach talked about? I can't believe he's giving you guys a one-on-one. That's completely insane to me. Um, like he truly didn't talk to me about it, and I mean, I thought he was going to offer you guys a group coaching call where all you guys that reserved a seat could get on a group call with him. Him doing a one-on-one is absurd, um, and rad. That is very generous of him. So, anyways, any other questions about any of that stuff before we hop off here? I've had a bunch of fun with you guys. Hopefully, you had fun. I had a lot of fun talking with you all. Anybody else? Any other comments, questions, concerns? Pray that you guys have a rad weekend. I'm looking at the chat here. No. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate you all. We'll be in touch. You'll be getting some text messages and emails from us over the next few days. If you got an email that said your name here at the top today, that was a total snafu. Those things happen, really frustrating, but they happen. So, but I apologize about that. Okay. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. We'll see you later.